So you want to start with a white base of face paint, and you want to make it really messy and patchy. If you use a little bit too much water, then you're going to easily get this effect. But if it's looking too perfect looking, you can also just mess it up with your fingers. If you let it dry a little bit and then rub your fingers over it, it's going to create that nice patchy look. Now there are two ways you can add the shapes and the wear into this makeup. One way would be to remove the face paint in certain areas, like I said, with a finger or maybe even like a wet Q-tip, cotton bud thing. Or the way I did it was to take a powder that's a similar shade to my contour shade, and then I applied that on top of the face paint. And because it's a similar colour to my skin tone, it just looks like my skin is showing through. It works really nicely. Initially I wanted it to look kind of dirty, but it actually worked out a lot better than I planned. So you want to use this for definition to begin with. So I'm first defining the cheekbones because I still wanted an element of glamour in the look, because I wanted to imagine it was a pretty looking makeup once before it got all kind of distressed and creepy. I also added a little bit of definition around the cheeks to later on enhance the smile that I'm going to draw on. I defined my nose, I gave myself some frown lines, and I darkened the eye sockets. Then I wore off some of the makeup on the forehead and added some wrinkle definition as well. Next, I applied a gold liner on the lids as a base for the gold eyeshadow I'm going to apply. This is not entirely necessary for the sake of longevity, since the more worn this look looks, the better it's going to look. I said look so many times then, but it's going to help boost the intensity of that gold colour. Next, I'm applying that gold shadow over top of that liner on the lid, really messily, and then I'm also going to apply a bunch of that in the inner corner as well. Next, I took a black eyeliner, one that's easy to smudge, and I ran this underneath the eye and then blended it out with my finger. You also want to take this around the lid, so kind of on the inner and outer corner and then through the socket, kind of like a halo eye. Is that what they call it? Is that what it's called, a halo eye, when it's all the way around the edge? I have no idea. You could totally do this with black shadow or cream colours or whatever you have available to use. I just really like how eyeliner smudges. You also want to drag this out at the edges as well and then blend it with your fingers, and you also want to drag it up and down as well for that typical kind of Jester makeup look. I knew I wanted to go in with a different product over the top of this, so I actually treated this layer more like the smudge layer, so it doesn't matter about it being super black or anything yet. Don't worry about the contrast just yet. You just want to get the smudging down. I added some watery black face paint so I could get some of that kind of organic streakage going on. When you apply this, you want to think where the face paint would collect if it was wet or streaking. So you want to drag it out into the wrinkle lines and the smile lines and things. And if you don't have any, just make it up. Just scrunch your face together until you find out where the wrinkles would be, and then pull the makeup out into those areas. Next, I added some black grease paint around the lid because I wanted to add some shine to those areas. You know, like when your eyelids get all greasy and the makeup moves around and creases? Exactly that. The longer you wear it, the more crease it's going to get, which is perfect. And I chose to use grease paint for this, for the depth of the black, because it's a really nice dark product. But if you don't have any and you still want that shine, you can just use Vaseline or lip balm or something to create that shine and encourage product movement. Now this is where I'd planned to leave the eyes, but I do come back to them later on, so for now I'm just moving on to the lips. I first highlighted my cupid's bow with the gold liner and then going over the top of that with the eyeshadow. Next, I use a red lipstick on a lip brush to just outline the lips and extending the edges into that typical clown/jester shape. And of course you want to do some smudging. Again, I'm just treating this as my smudge layer, and then I'll go in with another lipstick in a second. So I also took a darker red around the edges of the lips because, like I mentioned, I still wanted an element of beauty in the look, and an ombre lip is definitely very beautiful. Then I added a touch of gold highlight in the center of the lip as well. I also added some black eyeshadow just on a little brush to the corners of the lips as well, just to give them even more depth and shape. At this point I realised we kind of had like a sexy Joker / Harley Quinn kind of vibe going on, so I decided to enhance that kind of sexy side and add some lashes and even more of a beauty element really. I applied one set on top, an even more dramatic pair underneath the eye, and then I also decided to add another set on top as well just to balance it a little better. But like with every look I do, I just kind of evolve it as I go along, so you don't need to do 2 pairs of lashes on top if you don't want to. You can just throw on a heavier pair from the get-go. Finally, I added this border with black face paint, which is essentially supposed to look like a cowl, and I think it really works nicely with the whole contrast thing we've got going on, you know, having the super messy face but then surrounding it with a really sharp, clean border. Makes me feel good inside, I love it. But then that's it. I will hopefully have a link to some info on how I made the wig for this look in the description, along with a list of everything I used for the look. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.